Giving you a slice of unapologetic conversation. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Straight to Tape. My name is C. Perry II, Mr. Fantastic of Podcasting Fantastic Four, the Kumo D, Podcasting's Treacherous Three. But we
today you're Charlie. You're Charlie today.
I'm Charlie today.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie today. Okay, I'll go with Charlie. First, the first lady of S2T, quintessential hip hop mom, Keisha with a Y. What's good, kid?
What's up, y'all? It's Keisha with a Y, aka hip hop mom, aka it's almost Christmas, y'all. But I love Christmas, and your mom's favorite mom.
Shit, okay. Look, maybe I'm from the old school as it relates to Christmas talk and Christmas conversation, and we haven't even gotten to Halloween yet. I'm trying to remember where I was like about a week or two ago, but I could have sworn there was a Christmas tree up.
You could have been anywhere. Lowe's, Home Depot. They have them all. They have like the trifecta in stores now. But also that was back in the day where probably most of the gifts your kids want, you could go out to the store to get them, a local store. Now you have to order online. So start your shopping, Perry.
Okay, I guess. Shoot. And joining us for today's special episode is the showrunner of Straight to Tape and S2T Media. My partner, friend, one half of the creative mental. Ladies and gentlemen, Felicia Rousseau. What is good, Felicia?
What's going on, y'all? It's Felicia. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. You just skipped over Thanksgiving, Keisha. I'm not into all that whole Christmas thing. We're just skipping over.
Well, we know why that is.
I don't want to do that yet. Ain't nobody ready for all that.
All the gifts that the baby wants, you need to order them. Start your shopping, Felicia.
Whatever.
No. Key has a point. The whole store shopping thing. Okay, she has a point.
Y'all know I'm the Christmas queen.
You can get the boys gifts. How about that?
My birthday's literally the day after Christmas. I know how these things work.
Yeah, that's been a struggle for me.
And guys, first off, shouts out to the to our resident comedian and professional joke slinger, Tico de Gallo. Right now, he's actually out slinging jokes at Charlie Goodnight's. So, hope he tears it up there. And then, of course, our social media assassin, Rob the Actual, who is feeling a little bit under the weather today. So hopefully uh, he'll be active in the comment section. Okay, we'll
Yes.
see how it is. All right. Now, got an important show for you today. Uh, we're in election season, and we're almost at the home stretch. And one thing about election season, a lot of times the talk can be dominated on what's going on the national level. But we are all big proponents on the importance of local, of local elections and what goes on locally, because as we all know, what goes on locally is what eventually affects, the national scene. And uh, we're gonna have a we're here to have a robust conversation about um, the capital city, about Raleigh. All right. So we have two gentlemen that are joining us to discuss Raleigh, discuss the future of Raleigh, and discuss their campaign. All right. First, like to introduce you to uh, uh, educator, community activist, and candidate for Mayor of Raleigh. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Eugene Myrick, straight to
Hey,
tape.
thanks
What's
for having
good?
me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for
Welcome,
joining.
welcome.
Thank you for joining us, of course, in this important year. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
next,
I'm out and about. I hear you're an Eagle from NCCU. I'm actually just finished up a forum at over here with the Eagles.
nice, nice, nice. It's great. Look, and it is great that you're doing, during that forum, during homecoming season. Okay, great institution, big, big profile. And also, you are a fellow Divine Nine member, and a brother of 1911.
There
You
we
on the
go.
other side of 1911 from
There
me,
we
but it's
go.
all love.
There we go. And an HBCU alum. I'm a Shore Bear.
Exactly, exactly. And it's real interesting that you mentioned Shore Bears, okay? Because got another Shore Bear to add to this conversation. And this gentleman, um, long time, uh, law enfor long career in law enforcement. Now he's looking at helping his community out, by running for city council. And he's running for city council to represent, District C, which is commonly known as, Southeast Raleigh. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Straight to Tape, Jared Ollison. Jared, how you doing, my man?
My man.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and join the conversation. Hello, Eugene, my good friend Eugene there.
My brother.
And I'm in familiar company tonight with my fellow Shaw Bear, and we live about 3 or 4 minutes from each other, Eugene and I. So
There we go.
we
Nice.
so we're happy to be here with you. Thank you all.
Yeah, and I'm sure the conversations between the two of you, especially in that short distance, um, has had to have been robust. Okay, I mean robust enough for the two of you at the same time to do something about it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm glad to have you guys on here, because you're taking your words and you're making those words action. All right. Look, just the first question I just want to toss out to the two of you. All right. Starting with Eugene. Uh, why did you decide to run for office? And in your case, running for office for mayor.
Well, you have some people that just like to fight. I don't like to fight. I actually like to win. I like to win. And once I came back to Raleigh in 2018, I just didn't recognize the place. Just to give you my backstory, I originally came to Raleigh in 1990 from Brooklyn to attend Shaw University. I worked in the Wake County school system. I actually worked with students that were residents of Dorothy Dix Hospital. A lot of people don't know that. They look at Dorothy Dix as a mental health institution for adults, but there were quite a few kids in there. So there was one. That was one. I ended up going back to New York teaching special education for a while, but then I got into radio and I bounced from New York, LA, Chicago. But I always made my way back to Raleigh. And when I came back to Raleigh in 2018, I just did not recognize this place. There were many skid rows on every other highway. People couldn't afford to live here. I moved into the historic Biltmore Hills. Biltmore Hills is a community where Black people were allowed to own homes. But the beauty of Biltmore Hills is that all of our streets are named after famous Black people. I no longer tell people I live on Fitzgerald Drive. I say I live on Ella Fitzgerald Drive, right beside Dorothea Dandridge down the block from Cap Calloway. So, but we're flooding in Southeast Raleigh. Like I'm in a neighborhood of seniors. We're flooding as the development continues to go up. Right now, I'm helping them appeal the property taxes. Our property taxes have doubled. So I am dealing with people who are on fixed incomes who may lose their homes because of taxes. My friends who not everybody wants to be a homeowner, but nobody could find a place to live because the apartments are so high now. But it's just it's a whole ball. And then I really took a look at it. The city council, the District C where we at was full. You got Jared and I think it's like 6 other people. And I looked at the at-large race and that's full. And I'm like, wait a minute, why would I run for at-large when you have to do the same thing as the mayor? And most folks don't realize the mayor is just one. It's just one vote on a city council. You get the bully pulpit, but the city is really run by the city manager, the police chief, the fire chief. They all report to the city manager. So the mayor is a glorified title, but when me and Jared get up there on the city council, we'll have the same voting power.
Now, and look, and thank you for the civic education. Okay, a lot of something about our country where the lack of teaching civics properly is that sometimes we don't put sometimes people do not put the put the dots together on how things work. Now, Jared, all right. So in Eugene's case, he came down. His love for Raleigh started with him coming down as a student, going to Shaw University, and then him returning to the area. Now, in conversations with you, my man, you are what I refer to as old school Raleigh. Okay, so in you wanting to represent, District C, Southeast Raleigh, same question: why are you running?
Well, thank you for your question. As an original resident of Raleigh, I've been here my entire life, and I love this community. I grew up around people like Dr. Purcell Robinson, James West, Dr. West, that is, Councilman Knight. I knew Clarence Lightner personally, Ralph Campbell. I knew all these great people who had an influence over me, and I used to run into them all over at my uncle's house, Dr. Nelson H. Harris Sr., who was the president of Shaw University back in the early 60s. So I've been around here for a long time through family connections. And I think that it is time that I take the education that they provided me with and put it to work. Growing up, I heard all the wonderful stories and I saw all the wonderful people who live here. And I've also saw how much ground we've lost. I was the 10th person in my family to graduate from Shaw University. My son will be the 11th next May, and my daughter will be the 12th the following May. So we are really concerned about our community, and we've stayed here. We've opted not to leave. We've opted not to go other places. I live in my grandparents' home just a few minutes from Mr. Myrick here. And, my grandparents weren't allowed to buy anywhere else when they came to, when they retired back to Raleigh, this was my grandmother's hometown. So, we have a lot of community ties that are important to us. And I've heard the stories. I've seen what Raleigh can be. And I cannot drive back and forth through our community and come to the comfort of my home and not be concerned about the people who surround me who do not have. So I think to much whom is given, much is expected. And so, and the other thing too is, we have to respond to the least of these. So my concern comes not only from my teaching at home, but also from biblical teaching, where I learned to study the Bible at Martin Street Baptist Church as a child. My family's been there for 95 years. So there again, like, we're part of this community. We're rooted here. And all of these people in Southeast Raleigh, they're my people, they're our people, they're Eugenized people. And we care about them, and we want to dig in and fight for them, because we got to talk about affordable home ownership. We got to talk about safety. We've got to talk about gentrification. We've got to talk about having clean sidewalks. There's so many things that we need, and I know I'm able to get it done. And with my law enforcement background, I know I have the skill set to keep us safe. And I understand a lot about public policy with a master's of public policy. And I understand budgeting, as I sat on 3 county level boards. So I bring a lot of tools to the city council that we can use. Eugene and I can get in there, work together to make a lot of positive things happen for people in our community. That's why I'm running.
No, and like I said, incredible, especially, your family's history in Southeast Raleigh, and the history that you just brought up in Southeast Raleigh, just based on the people that you've been around, your entire life. Okay. Question for both of you. Okay. As a candidate for mayor and as a candidate for city council, where does your vision for Raleigh align with your vision for Southeast Raleigh?
Well, I think as it's funny because everybody wants to be a part of Southeast Raleigh now. They want to be a part so much they're trying to take it all from us. So my goal is to make sure that the legacy. Oh, the lights just went out. I'm in a motion room. Y'all can hear me. No, it's all right. As long as y'all can hear me.
Wave your hand. Wave your hand. Only on straight to tape. Only on straight to tape.
But let me finish that. Jared, how about you pick up and I turn the lights back on? How about
that? Fair enough. You can't make this stuff up. This is great. This is great. Well, so where do things align? You know what? Here's the bottom line. The people in Southeast Raleigh want the same things as the people in Northeast Raleigh, North Raleigh, West Raleigh, or Eastern Raleigh, whichever way you want to split it. We want the same things. We want equity. We don't want anything any different. We just want to be valued. We want to value our homes and our communities the same way people in those communities value their homes and their communities. We want clean sidewalks. We want clean parks. We want traffic lights that work. We want to be sure we can move around our neighborhoods safely without fear of being harmed. We want to make sure that we can create some generational wealth. We want the same things they want. It's not a strange thing, but what we have to have someone on the city council who's going to fight to talk about those things. It's not going to take no for an answer. So
Jared, where do you think we've fallen short before, right? Because I'm a North Raleigh girl, right? I grew up in North Hills. I went to Enloe High School and changed my world, right? It introduced me to, like, my parents. I don't know if I had ever been to Southeast Raleigh before I started at Enloe,
You love it here, don't you?
Yeah, and then I bought a house in Hedingham. So where do you think we've fallen short over the past few years? Because like you, Eugene, I moved away. I grew up here, and I moved away in 2004. And when I came back in 2009, like, I was living in the DC area when I moved back to Raleigh in 2009. And people would always complain about the traffic. I was like, this traffic ain't bad. Like, I used to live outside, like, I had to drive towards DC to go to work. And I realized, hell yeah, the traffic is bad. Like, it had gotten so much worse in just that few number of years that I was gone. And I've seen it slowly become more and more unaffordable. How do you think we got to where we are right now? Because Raleigh used to be an affordable place to live. And, and I'm talking about in the grand scheme of things, right? It has, like, everything everywhere has gone up, but it seems like we have skyrocketed. So where do we go wrong?
Well, I like to say briefly that we failed to hold developers accountable for the types of development that they brought into our communities. And we failed to make sure that we control tax rates and we took too much special interest money, and now they own the town. They own everything. Where Raleigh used to be run by the citizens, now Raleigh's run by the corporate interests. So we failed to do a lot of things. I mean, it's like pulling a ball of yarn. You know, you start with a string here, and then you end up with it 2, 4, 5, 10 feet long. Before you know it, you got 100 feet of yarn.
Yeah,
we failed. Correction. The people we elected to office failed. And I'm a registered Democrat and a proud Democrat. The Democratic Party failed us. Let me point something out to you, and I'm gonna let Brother Eugene take this in a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Raleigh City Council is run by Democrats, nonpartisan, mind you. The Wake County Public School Board is run by Democrats, nonpartisan, mind you, as they say. Wake County Commission, kind of the same thing. You know, they're partisan to some degree. But in any case, all these things are run by Democrats. If the Democratic way is to uplift everyone and protect everyone's interests, then why do we have schools that have problems? We have people living in poverty in the county and people living in poverty in the city. If the Democratic way is to uplift everyone, if Democrats are controlling everything, then why is that? Explain that to me. You know why? Because they are selecting the wrong Democrats who have special interests and a lot of money in their pockets. And that's what we got to stop.
Yeah. I don't think people realize, because you hear about that kind of special interest thing at the higher levels of government, so to speak, president, senators, congress people, but you don't really we don't have that conversation at the city, county, local levels of government about, you know, people just being selfish and not being stewards of the community that they were elected to be, you know?
Agree.
It's basically
you mentioned Dick's.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You mentioned Dick's Hospital. And I think that was like a glaring thing to me when they closed that hospital. And the sunflowers are cute, but you have to think about the long game. And 10 years from now, where are those sunflowers going to be? And is it going to be a condo community? And is the park still going to be there? And I think about these things and where it puts Raleigh in those long-term goals. What is the goal? Right? You displace these patients, but to put sunflowers, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But they want to make it a destination so bad, and it is quite apparent that yes, this is a nice place to be, and we could talk about this also. But Raleigh really doesn't have like the city center like a Charlotte, and that's now debilitated, right?
I look at it in a different way. Like, we're not utilizing what we have. So we, once again, as Jared said, we have the wrong people in place. These people in office, they don't even know what affordable housing is. Like, they're literally basing affordability off of $116,000, which is the area median, like the county, from Wake Forest to RTP to Cary. The area median income is $116,000, and so to them, 30% of that is affordable. You're talking about $2,900 a month. That's unrealistic. And now we have city council members who say, well, we can't tell
$2,900 a month
because it's 30% of the area median income.
Gotcha.
And I said, well, we need to get back to neighborhood median income. Can we get the neighborhood median income of the folks that live in Biltmore Hills? Can we do the neighborhood median income of the folks that live in South Park before you kick them out? Because and if you go back right now, even there was one candidate, not in either one of our races, at one of these forums where I was at, and he was like, well, affordable housing leads to slums. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not good times. You still thinking green. Like, the word affordable has been usurped so bad. Like,
absolutely. I said, woke.
We need to start using workforce housing. I was at what's the pizza shop on Frank's on New Bern. I'm talking to a 60-year-old lady. She makes $12 an hour, and like her daughter lives with her, so they could be able to afford to have a place to live. I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. And one of the other candidates, I'm talking to him, and I'm saying, no, we need affordable. I've said no, it's housing based off of your income, and he's like, well, why would somebody want to pay $1,000 if somebody's only paying $900? I said,
they did it in New York.
I said, mind your business. Mind your business.
Right.
And it's funny, Jared. We just had a forum And they want to model affordable housing off of the neighborhood where I came from, East New York, Brooklyn. Like literally one wake brought all of these candidates in there and said, well, they got it right in East New York, Brooklyn. Let's take a trip up there and see how they did affordable house. They don't even know what affordable housing is anymore. But let me give you a backstory on that. So what happened in my neighborhood is the churches came together, East New York Development Corporation, and they demanded that the city sell them the land for $1. And the churches did the development. They created affordable housing, because apartments, and they created affordable homes. My family owns a home that they paid $40,000 for that's worth $750,000 right now. So they want to take a trip to see how affordable housing. And I'm like, the reason why Raleigh, first of all, you got greed, but there's people who don't realize what affordable housing is. And when you talk to them about it's being based off of individuals' income, they looking at me like I'm crazy, because they have no clue. Like the greed. I was even at one forum where one of the at-large candidates was like, yeah, so when a developer say he wants to go 9 stories at 30% of the area median income, we say, well, we'll let you go 12 if you give us at least 60% of the area median income. I'm like, okay, so if 30% is 2,900, you want to give them 3 more stories at 5,800? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so far off the rails that it's just unrealistic. And to go back to Dick's Park, like they literally out here saying, well, we want to do a Central Park. I'm like, well, Central Park was Seneca Village, and they kicked out the formerly enslaved people.
Thank you.
But here's the other part. It wasn't just former slaves that was there. You had the Irish that was there. You had the Jews.
It was a whole community of people.
All of these so-called undesirables.
Yeah.
So now they want a Central Park. What do? They kick the mentally ill people out and give them a voucher as if they can take care of themselves.
And go where? To go where?
To go on the streets where they are right now.
Right.
And I literally was saying, can we have taken at least 10% of that? It's 308 acres. I'm talking about 30 acres. And we could have split that in half, 15 to create a mental health institution for inpatient and outpatient, and 15 to create some affordable housing. But I like One Wake's idea better. One Wake is a collective of like 44 churches. They said they want 100 acres of land to create for. I'm like, you get 100 right from Dick's Park. It's 308 acres sitting right there. That they, like you said, sunflowers, frisbee golf, and dog parks. That's what they got going on over there right now.
Well, I would like to point out that I'm just happy to see the churches get off the sidelines, because here lately the churches have been on the sidelines. They've not done anything. When I was growing up, we used to walk to church, and churches used to be the center where we get all our information, and we get together and figure out how to protect the community. But now churches don't really want to be involved. Churches are more concerned about their profit than they are their people. And so that's really concerning. So I'm happy to see One Wake form a collective of churches where we can get together and work to protect our community, because that's what's missing here. And you talk about Dorothea Dix. I volunteered, signed up to be on the committee to help plan that part when I saw what was going to happen. Of course, I didn't get selected. They don't select people who are going to give their opinion. So I was put on it.
Given your opinion on the application, you should have just
I think my reputation. I think my reputation preceded me. I fill out that application very carefully. You know? So I was on a subcommittee, and so they put me on a subcommittee, and after going to several meetings, I hadn't missed any meetings. One of the people who works for the city of Raleigh came to me, and a Caucasian lady, she came to me, she said, Jared, can I ask you a personal question? I said, absolutely, please. She said, well, it's kind of personal. I said, please ask the question. She said, well, you and Mrs. So-and-so, I can't remember the lady's name, she's another African-American lady, you all come to almost all these meetings. And I said, correct, I've been to all the meetings. She said, you come to all the meetings, and I want to know why you all are the only 2 African-Americans who attend. And I said, well, ma'am, that's an interesting question. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, when the answer is going to be buried in there. And she said, what is it? I said, where did you advertise that you want to help? Did you advertise it in the Black churches? Did you advertise it in the community centers that the city owns? Did you advertise it in the communities? Did you go door to door and ask people they want to be involved? I said, did you do any of that? Did you advertise on Black radio stations? She said, no. I said, well, you got your answer. You advertised in News and Observer, and not a lot of us read it. Did you advertise in Carolina? She said, no. I said, that's why we're not participating. I said, and then I want you to keep in mind, that this area used to be settled by African Americans. You gentrified it, moved everybody out, and then turned it to a park, and you told them they can come back and visit on occasion. So that's the reason why things are the way they are.
Oh, that's why you was on that subcommittee.
And you just
You mouthy. You mouthy.
but you also pointed out another huge problem, okay, which is not knowing how to communicate with the entire community.
Right.
When you focus,
but you know what, Perry, I get where you're going, but I don't like. Here's me in October 2024. This close for what 2 weeks from the election. There is too much fucking information out here on how to communicate with that. Like, you could literally go to YouTube and pull up a DEI video of how to communicate with different. There's too much information.
They don't want to.
That is exactly. This is
Right.
That's the point.
And let me tell you
the point that I was trying to get to.
You come on straight to you know,
yeah, that's the point I was trying to get to. Because when you don't look at when you don't look at all media and all all platforms and always all ways to communicate. Look, some's gonna get it from a text, some's gonna get it from smoke signals. Okay, you have to be able.
Yeah.
But it takes
you have to be able to communicate on all levels for
it
people to get
a
it.
certain level.
Let me go back to how they don't want it. So I'm in Biltmore Hills. I get the guy running the community center says, listen, there's a focus group. They, I want you to come, I want you to give your opinion on some changes they're going to do to the park. So I go to the meeting and the guy says, so we're going to put a tennis court. We're going to put tennis courts over here where this small baseball field is. And I said, you're going to put tennis courts there? He was like, yeah, that's the plan. So I'm like, so what are we here for? He was like, well, I want to know, what do you think? I said, you don't want to know what I think. You already told me what you're going to do. So what's the purpose in me being here? Well, we want to get some feedback. No, you just want to say that you had a meeting. You want to say that you had a meeting and people gave you, but you told us that you're going to put tennis courts. Nobody asked for this. And then we got these letters in the mail.
Does the Biltmore Hills Park already have tennis courts?
Yes.
Lots of tennis courts.
So when I asked him, I was like, so he was like, well, we were advertising and nobody signed up for baseball or anything like that. And I said, well, where was you advertising at? He said, on the internet. I said, so the kids are in the parks, the kids are in the after school programs, the kids are in the community center. You didn't advertise any of these youth programs where they in the schools. You advertised it on the internet. Then there's even another one. We don't have sidewalks in Biltmore Hills. Like, you want to wait on the bus, you waiting in the street. We don't have sidewalks. And so we got these letters in the mail. Oh yeah, we're going to get some bike lanes coming to Biltmore Hills. I'm like, we're in a meeting. Jared attended one of our meetings. We have our neighborhood meetings is mostly 40, 50 seniors. So I'm like, they walk in the morning, and I went to City Hall. I'm like, they walk in the morning, they walk in the evening, and they walking in the street. So where are these bike lanes going to go, and where are these seniors going to walk at? If you decide you're going to put, who asked for bike lanes in Biltmore Hills when we don't have sidewalks?
Who's riding bikes through Biltmore Hills?
I know who they want to ride.
I mean, I know.
The key word is
it's a beacon. It's basically a beacon.
The key word is through Biltmore Hills. So they're going to ride bikes through Biltmore Hills, but we don't have sidewalks for the seniors to walk on.
And I'll point something that piggybacking. We talk about sidewalks, not having sidewalks. Well, our current city councilman grew up right over here on Sanderford Road, and we got sidewalks that are impassable right on Sanderford Road. I posted pictures of those last week on the internet. So we got sidewalks where elderly people are walking down the sidewalk, and they get to a certain point, they have to get off the sidewalk, walk in the street, walk down around about 45, 50 feet of impassable sidewalk and back onto the sidewalk, where cars are buzzing by them. So we're not even maintaining the sidewalks that we have, but we're talking about putting in bike lanes for people who don't even live here. This is a problem. This is a problem, and it's happening all over. We have broken sidewalks on Crosslink Road. When I was doing a lot of walking, which I plan to return to, every 3 months I would walk with my shears and clip the tree limbs from overhead so that elderly people could pass through the sidewalks on Crosslink Road. You don't have that problem over
But
falls a new sewer.
that
We
is
don't have
just like general maintenance. It's nothing
right.
special.
We don't have the basic needs,
Right.
but yet we're talking about putting bicycle lanes in.
Right. And
Right.
so let's not skip over the major problems, right? So I'm in Biltmore Hills. I'm right by the park. My house is literally up on a hill. My neighbor is 82 years old. His house is on a lower plane. So when I first started getting into these issues, I saw him, a gentleman named Mr. Dunn. Usually after I saw him like with a big broom pushing water down toward the park. So I came down to see how can I help him? And we had 2 sewers in front of the house, and both of the sewers were flooded. So what happens is that creek off of Garner Road, it floods. So, these are seniors. They could get a mosquito bite and get sick. And he's right on the side by the creek. And so I made several calls to City Hall, went down to City Council. I'm like, listen, we're flooding over here. These seniors are flooding. And this is how I literally first started getting involved. I called them so much that the one guy was like, listen, we're not going to drain that creek. So I'm going to put in an order to close up these sewers. They literally came, poured concrete into the sewers, shut them, supposed to have leveled it so the rain can go slope toward the park. It doesn't. But you know what happened at one of our next meetings? The neighbors down the block was like, the flooding has increased. So when they closed our sewers, all it did was send the water down the block.
Yep. Yeah. Water, you have to plan for where you have to tell water to go.
That's
where
right.
to go. You have to build for it to go where it's supposed to go, or it's going to go where it can. Every time.
Right now, as the city is planning, they're going from talking about a soccer stadium, now they're talking about bringing baseball. Oh, do y'all want some baseball? But they're talking about building it at the Cargill site, right off of there for Hope, where a train station is. I think it should be an old dog food plant or something like that.
Yeah, soybean plant.
Talking about the bridge,
and it's funny, but we're literally on the other side of the train tracks. Now, just imagine if they put a baseball stadium there when they put all that concrete and stuff. We're going to continue to get flooded out. So I'm like, are we planning? What's the plan to help us now? Not later. What's the plan to help us now? But
and not damage us moving forward.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing wrong with development, right? There's nothing wrong with development.
Right. The right
people
type
that
of
own
development.
homes, development increases their property value. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yes, but you cannot damage the people that live here and pay the taxes that help fucking develop what you want to develop. It's so simple, but
I keep saying we can't forget Raleigh is one of the best places to live. They always say that. Well, don't. But
we made it great.
There you go.
We made it great. Why are you forgetting the people who made it great?
Right.
Why are you forgetting people who made it great? I had a next door neighbor lives over my father's street. He pays more now in property taxes than he paid on his mortgage. Now he's elderly. He doesn't know what he's gonna do. He's literally hoping that he doesn't live long enough to be displaced from his home. Why is that? That's not fair. That's not fair. You're talking about someone who's 90 years old, 92 years old. Why? That is not fair. That is not fair.
Yeah.
And so one of the studies that we did, and I'm helping some of the seniors appeal the property taxes, but we have a comparison of like 50 houses now. When you take the newer home and compare it to the older home next to it, the older home is paying more in property taxes. And the older home is most likely owned by a Black person.
How? Why? How?
Well, actually, to Eugene's point, we were at a city council meeting. I think we were at the same one where you had one neighbor stand up and talk about they asked for tax deferments and these types of things. And they were saying that they were granted it, but their next door neighbor was not. But the next door neighbor was Black, and the person speaking was white. And so it was like, well, if we live right next door to each other, why was mine granted and theirs was not?
Our houses are comp. Right. They're
comp and they're newer. But just to get into some other stuff like transportation, why I'm in this race. So there's this bus rapid transit that they're talking about, the BRT. Once again, the people of Raleigh said we need enhanced bus transportation. The bus takes too long. They didn't ask for the BRT. The BRT is actually basically going to be a shuttle service to go from New Bern to whatever stadium they got. Think about it. It's going down Western to Dix Park. They wanted to come down Wilmington Street where they hope to put some kind of stadium. and they wanted to go down New Bern that the city just rezoned to go up 5 stories. 744 acres of New Bern Avenue.
Because they didn't shut all that stuff down.
5 stories. Now, think about it. New Bern's only 2 lanes. If the BRT has a designated bus lane, now you only have 1 lane. And do you think people are going to move into luxury housing to ride the bus? Like this is a $1 billion problem that the city is creating, and New Bern is going to become a parking lot. So you have people in office right now that's just continuously making bad decisions. Another quick one, they created something called sip and stroll. You can now leave the bar with liquor, with a drink in your hand. Most people are like, hey, but guess what? The crime went up on Glenwood Avenue. So what does the city do? Instead of saying, well, we might need to rescind sip and stroll to tank. No, they put up $3.2 million for a private police. Because of a problem that they created. Again,
no way.
Yeah, that's true. That happened. And then we've been sipping and strolling in our community for a long time, but we get arrested for it.
Because the sip and stroll is not in the Black community. You never noticed the sip and stroll sign.
It's my point.
The sip and stroll sign stop when you get to Shaw University.
That's right.
Before you cross that street, there's a sign saying.
After that, it's charged open container in a public place. After that, that's the charge.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
Okay. Jared, I gotta go there. Okay. I gotta go there. I'm gonna try to be nice going there, but I gotta go.
Go get it. Okay? Let's get it.
Now, you're running for District C.
Yes, sir.
Southeast Raleigh. All right. Why do you feel that the incumbent city council member that's currently in that seat right now, no incumbent currently in the seat, y'all know what I mean, okay? Why do you feel that he is inadequate in the role?
Well, when Mr. Branch took over the district, he took over a generational wealth district. African Americans owned a lot of homes. We had a lot of pride. We were licensed professionals, school teachers, lawyers, just hardworking people all together. Not necessarily college educated, but a lot of college educated people. And we had quite a community going. But over the last 9 years, he's basically destroyed that community via his policies. And he acts like he doesn't recognize what's happening. We've lost ground. Few African Americans own homes. The taxes have gone up. They moved out. The community is gentrified. You got people living on the bus stops. You got people homeless. You got people walking around mental health problems. All these things that we did not see in any type of volume 9 years ago when he took over. He has collapsed. He would go down as being known as the city councilman who collapsed what we had known as Southeast Raleigh. This on his watch. This is Corey Branch's legacy.
So tell me, I don't disagree with what you said has happened over the last 9 years at all. But I need you to tell me what he did and not the council. And okay. I understand the representation. I get that, but there's a lot of powerful entities and stuff going on in this city that I would consider out of his control, but convince me.
Okay, well, let's talk about what's out of his control, what's in his control. Let's go in control. No, let's go out of control. It's out of his control that he needs more votes than he is in order to get things done. That's out of his control. Out of his control is the price of a hamburger meat going up. In his control is him advocating for us in a very public way to get things done. Also in his control is not accepting large amounts of money from developers.
Oh Lord, he didn't pull down the paper.
Hey, that's right. I came with it. We have $4,000, $1,500, $2,000, $5,000 from people who have development interests, which would lead me to believe that he no longer represents our interests, but he represents theirs. He could at least stand up to him and put up a good fight. He's put his gloves down and he's letting us all get hit.
I have to piggyback on what Jared said, because just being completely honest with you all. I said I saw a black man in this seat. I saw a brother. I saw a member of Alpha. I would go to the meetings. I'm like, I'm going to support this dude. And I was disappointed. The way the city council work, again, it has an old school mentality. Nothing is going to happen in District C unless Corey wants it to happen. Every time when something is happening, which is kind of crazy because we have 2 at-large city council members, and Jonathan Melton and Stormy Ford, but nothing is going to happen unless Councilman Corey Branch makes that motion. All of the rezoning of Shaw University, just right now, approval of it went from 12 stories. I fought it for a year, 12-story hotel to 7 stories, right next to the Masonic Temple, which is a historic building. And the developer said, "I'm gonna use this building as an entrance to my hotel." He said it. It's on tape. But those things don't happen unless Corey Branch makes the motion for them to happen. So I've been disappointed. That's even why I got into the race, because I wanted to support the man. I wanted to support him, but no, I just couldn't. Nothing has happened. And the city council, they say, oh, these are great ideas, but the state makes the law. We can't do things because the state says we can't ask the developer what to do, but you can tell them no.
But then they're doing it. Yeah,
you
they're doing
tell
things.
Them no.
Yeah,
they don't give us what we need, but they give the developers what they want.
Exactly.
And I've known Corey Branch for 40 years. I've known Corey for 40 years, and I generally try to support him, even after he unseated Eugene Weeks, who was a good friend of mine and my school teacher, in fact. But I wanted to support him, but he's failed us. The reality of it is he's failed us, and for him to say he wants to continue the work that he started, says he wants to finish eradicating the African American race out of Southeast Raleigh. That's the only thing I heard when he said.
And wasn't he on? I ain't going no fucking where, but wasn't he on the the ballot for mayor?
Yes. He was, and go ahead, Jared. I'll let you. I'm sorry.
I got a courtesy call from Corey on July the 16th, who told me that he was going to drop out of the mayoral race because the powers that be told him that he had no way forward. And he can lie about this if he wants to. I have text messages, but he said that he had no way forward in the mayoral race, and they told him that if he didn't drop out, that he was dead in politics in Wake County from this day forward. And I told him, I said, well, Corey, I'm a cordial person. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. And he said, well, the other thing I want to tell you was that they told me they would support me if I ran for my seat again. I said, well, who's they? But he didn't say who they was. But I know who they is now because they after July the 16th, you can look at his financial report. $20,000 poured in from developers. So they was the developers. They bought them.
And a former mayor, because think about it. One of my opponents, she came out the gate with the endorsement of 3 former mayors. But when Corey dropped out of that race, one of those former mayors gave him a $5,000 donation.
That's right.
It's on the financial report.
It's on the report, clear as day.
Thank you. Look, thank you for providing that financial report, because I know you were at a forum in Shaw a couple of weeks ago, where you talked about this. Now, Eugene, developers, Shaw.
I was looking at my question right here, Perry. I was looking at my question because I saw him on the news today before I came on here.
Talk about that battle, because I know over the past, actually, to be honest with you, since you came back to Raleigh, okay, you've been extremely critical. You've been extremely critical of the leadership at your alma mater.
Yes.
Okay, and especially as it relates to developers. Can you build on that?
So think about this. Shaw was founded by a white man from Massachusetts who came down here to educate formerly enslaved people. And now educated Black people want to turn this land over to people that don't look like them. And so let's clear up some of the misconceptions. Folks say, oh, why didn't y'all go back to Willie Gary? Willie Gary, famous alum, pledged $10 million to Shaw. He never gave $10 million to Shaw.
That's right.
So there's that part. There's a difference in the pledge and giving. So Shaw was $30 million in debt, 27, something like that, pre-COVID. They came up, they had this Urban Land Institute plan and all this other nonsense. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, y'all sitting on this real estate. When I bought my house in Biltmore Hills, I paid $130,000 for it. I had $50,000 to fix it up for a total of $180,000. We talking about 2018. In 2019, I refinanced the same house for $325,000.
Yeah.
My $180,000 debt got paid, $100,000 got dropped in my account, and my interest rate was 3.25. My mortgage $1,500.
Yep.
Shaw's sitting on, I believe, $1 billion worth of real estate.
Absolutely.
When 1 acre sells for $20 million, it was like a $400 million project coming on 1 acre, and Shaw's sitting on 27 acres right in the heart of downtown. Then they sitting on another 35 acres off of Rock Quarry Road, less than
Shaw
a mile.
Farm.
Mhm.
So Shaw was $30 million in debt pre-COVID. When COVID happened, all HBCUs got bailed out, which is why I'm confused with what's happening with St. Aug. Our debt was through the Department of Education. They wiped the debt out clean. And then on top of PPP money, all types of money, Shaw got over $30 million. Don't take my word for it. It's a screenshot is called a 990. Shaw is a nonprofit organization.
Yep.
You can pull up the 990, and you can see in 2021, Shaw had a surplus on his taxes of $26 million. In 2022, another surplus of $600,000. In 2023, now they're dipping in the pocket. We down $8 million. But at the end of the day, Shaw should still be sitting on tens of millions of dollars.
Mhm.
How do you have the same plan to turn over property to developers when you was $30 million in debt? Now that you out of debt and sitting on tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm like, these people don't have the common sense. Now that you have this land, now you operate from a position of power. Now
Right.
you go to the bank. Now you go back to the Department of Education and say, look, we need $200 million. Matter of fact, it was $250 million. We're going to put up this piece of land right here. Build yourself a dormitory.
Yeah.
Tuition at Shaw, $27,000. Within 10 years, that dormitory will be paid off. Now you move on to the next dormitory. I'm not talking about some deep critical thinking. I'm talking about addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
But
Basic economics.
And I'm agreeing with Eugene because I have 2 students over at Shaw right now. My son and my daughter both go to Shaw, and so I know what it's costing over there, and they should be shamed that they're not building a new dormitory at one at a time or refurbishing them at a minimum. To
So
some.
what's the problem?
The problem is basic addition and subtraction, like Eugene said.
We
follow
have
the money.
We have
an esteemed guest, Felicia, but I do have an answer for you.
We have it's theft. That's what I call it, theft.
Right, yeah.
We have bad management over there where people, it's like the church. You got that pastor of the church, or I'll leave this podium when they pry my cold dead hands from it. Right. You have folks like that over there at Shaw. But think about it. We have a chairman of the board who send everybody from his hometown of Savannah, Georgia to Shaw for free, regardless of GPA. Regardless, the students have asked for this man to be removed from the board. We have trustees. Now, you're only supposed to serve 2-3-year terms. These people have been there 30 years.
Yeah.
Some of them are literally dealing with like dementia and like life-threatening illness, but they refuse to leave. And I said, we just to the point now where they see the gravy train and they trying to cash out before they check out, which is really sad.
And then it's private, so they're never going to tell who took what because they're all taking something.
Yeah.
Bad management. That was my whole thing during city council. I was like, we're not in debt, but when you have a city, they had a meeting today with Shaw and St. Aug, and they talking about the city needs affordable housing, and you guys have land that we could use for affordable housing. Why they not saying that to state? They're not saying that to Meredith. They're not saying that
the piece of Meredith. They've got lots of land too. They got all kinds of soccer fields over at Meredith. They can use them.
It's bad management. And the sad thing about us, even with the folks, some of the people I went to school with, it's like, oh, don't say nothing bad. Don't air the dirty laundry. Well, you can have dirty laundry in my house. But when your laundry stink, your house stink, and when you go outside, you stink.
But you know what? And to Eugene's point, it's the same problem with some of our churches. You can't talk about what the pastor or someone is doing. When you start talking about that, it's the same problem. We got to start verbalizing what's going on. We not say
right. That's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here.
No matter where it is.
Exactly why you got older 90-year-old people with dementia on the board at Shaw, because nobody ever said, hold on, wait a minute.
They don't want to talk about it. How can you fix a problem? How can you fix a problem if you don't talk about it?
That's what happens.
But that's a problem in the Black community, mental health and You know, uncle touched me and all of the
Right.
other
Right, all that.
generational curses that we have that we don't want to
And,
talk
and it's
about that
bad.
will
It's
never
Uncle
get solved.
Chester. I call it Uncle Chester, the child molester. And you know
Yeah,
what?
Right.
You know what? Don't tell on Uncle Chester because he's gonna go to jail, and that's gonna break Grandma's heart.
Lock
Right.
them up.
Exactly.
But just don't leave
Yeah,
your
yeah.
kids with him. Just don't
Right.
leave
Right.
your kids with him.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know how
It's
Uncle
your,
Chester
it's your
is.
fault.
Yeah.
It's in your
Don't leave your
hands.
kids
That's
with
right.
him.
That's
It's in
right.
your
That's right.
hands. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
What we gonna do?
Yeah, that's
We got to
unfortunate.
speak
And I
out.
think some similar stuff is going on at St. Aug as far as the trustees and the board and all that stuff is concerned. It's just a
I
little
went
worse
over to
there.
St. Aug last week and left them a check. I made a $1,200 pledge to St. Augustine's because I love that school. Even though I went to Shaw, I love that school. I love
I
I
do
love
too.
it's part of the community. I made in my limited budget. I made a $1,200 pledge for this year, and next year I'll try to see what I can do to increase it. So I
Mhm.
took a $300 check because I want to take the checks over quarterly to them, and there was no one around. I just left the check, a certified money order from State Employees Credit Union on the president's desk. I walked right in his office and left it right there and walked out.
Mhm.
And I,
Mhm.
Get any confirmation after you left it.
Just check it.
Yeah,
Just
that,
receipt.
that,
Just
that,
check,
that,
make
that it
sure.
went to what it's supposed to
Good
go
job,
to.
Jared. I
well,
commend you for that. I
well,
commend
thank you. You know what? It's in their hands and it's off my conscience.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever yep, you give out of your heart.
That's right.
Right.
That's
I
it.
will say, Jared, that your family, your mom was an educator. It seems like you are coming from a place of the good of the community.
Yeah.
Most politicians don't have that type of,
Thank you.
focus. But I think we need, more like you. What do you think? How do you get more people to join a movement of politics from that type of view? That type of, giving more from a community-minded mindset.
Well, we have to start conversations early. I'm teaching my children early. My children went to elementary school and middle school and consequently high school. I always contributed to other children who I did not know, even if it was in secret. I gave the teacher shoes, boxes of shoes, and I gave them coats and things, for different children, and said, please don't tell them it comes from me. Tell them it came from somebody who cares about them. So when you live your life that way and you espouse those values in your community, then you will grow politicians who care the same way, and you encourage them to get civically involved.
Yep.
And my mother loved everyone she ever met, never met a stranger, and she wanted to make this place a better place. And one of the many ways that I honor her is through providing money for youth. I sponsor youth programs right here in Southeast Raleigh now out of my own pocket, and I'm happy to do it. And I'm the only person who's running for office who has pledged to give a minimum of 30% of the income from the city councilman seat to youth programs right here in our district. And ultimately, I likely would give all of the money away. I just want to see how it comes in and what my tax liability is before I start passing out checks, which I do intend to give a substantial check to One Wake to help with the housing crisis as well.
Good on you.
Yeah. Gentlemen, look, closing argument. All right. I mean, we're 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks away from November 5th. Now, correct me as it relates to the especially with the number of candidates that are running for mayor and as well as running for as running for District C. There's a threshold before there's a runoff. Am I correct?
There's no runoff.
There's no runoff?
There's no runoff.
Oh, okay. Look. Even better. That means November 5th is it. Closing arguments, gentlemen, to, what the two of you bring as it relates to a vision for Raleigh. We'll start with Eugene.
Well, I got into going down to the city council. It was never about me. To be honest with you, I'm okay, but my neighbors are not. So I just want to get to the point to where we as a people can realize that the power of the people is much more powerful than the people in power. If we could ever just take the time to realize that the things that we want for our community, we don't have to continue to just go out and keep asking for them. If we put the right people in place, and we're not asking for anything different from anybody else. We want shelter for the bus. We want benches at the bus stops. I'm just focusing on everybody matters in Raleigh, from mental health, from education. I don't even think I touched on the fact that when a kid in Wake County right now, when you don't have money for lunch, that they give you a fruit, a vegetable, and an empty cup to get water from the fountain. You don't even get the entree. The entree's supposed to be thrown away. I'm at the point where I feel like by law, if a kid is required to be in school, then by law, that kid should be able to get free breakfast and free lunch. But you have people who say, oh, that's a county issue. That's not a city issue. If it's happening in the city of Raleigh, it's going to be my responsibility. The mayor is just one vote. It's just one vote. But I'm going to use that bully pulpit to go down to the state legislature, as they just took money for private schools, and I'm going to get that funding for those meals. I'm going to make sure that we take care of our seniors. I'm going to make sure we take care of our mentally ill. And I'm just going to try to set a precedent where everybody matters in the city of Raleigh. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. Jared, closing argument.
Well, I like to lament what Eugene said, but I'm concerned about every single person in this district to make sure that everyone has a fair opportunity to make a living wage and make sure that they can afford to live in a comfortable environment, as do I and so many other citizens in this district. I want to focus on making sure that we reduce the waste, the financial waste, and take that money and redirect it to youth programs, because we have children walking up and down the streets every day who have limited resources. And if we can keep them in youth programs, then we don't have to take them to the jails eventually. I'm the former director of the Wake County Detention Center. I've seen a lot of people in there. If they had just a little bit of help, if someone would have cared about them a little bit more, the community had gotten involved, they likely would have taken a different path. So I want to work with those children to show them that we can work together. And by the way, that we can help each other too. I volunteered to work at the Boys and Girls Club, volunteered several years in a row. They asked for volunteers. I was never called on as an African-American male with no criminal history, with been in law enforcement. I'm a United States veteran, and they never called on me to come help those children. But every time I went over there, they had all white volunteers. Now, I love my white brothers and sisters too, but we know how to help each other too. Let's spend some time helping each other. We need to focus on using our talents to help the people in our community and show them that we love each other. And so I want to spend time doing that. So I'm here to help everyone, not just myself. And the News and Observer endorsed me, and they got it right. They said I was a straight shooter. They said that I was a person who's out to get the job done, and I have practical ideas. So
I do not disagree with him at all.
Yeah.
Straight shooter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gentlemen, look, I want to thank you guys for joining us on Straight to Tape to have an important conversation about our capital city, the city that we live in, and the proper direction for the future.
Can I point one thing out very quickly? Just take 1 second. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
No, I would really like to see us after this election win, lose, or draw. See, Jared Ollison is not a sore loser, although I predict a win. I want to work with Eugene and some of the other stakeholders here in our community, including you all, because we think this is an excellent show, that we need to retool the way we handle politics in Southeast Raleigh. You go over to Chavis Park, you go over to the other parks, and we've got 4 or 5 different voter coalitions right here in our community, and everybody's giving you different information. So where are we getting all this different information? I was approached by a voting member of the RWCA on March the 5th at about 10:15 in the morning over at Macedonia Church when I was working the polls for the primaries. And that person came over to me and said, Jared, if you would give us insider information on what's going on at the city council when you get elected, then what we would do is we will deliver you to the city council through our endorsement and through our mechanisms. But we're going to expect you to do that. And I said, no deal. You got Jared Ollison wrong. I said, that's the problem with Southeast Raleigh right now. We've got too many factions. I said, if you will bring everybody together in one room, we can get over at Southeast Raleigh at the gym or one of these parks and get all these groups into one room. I will give everybody the same information at one time, and then together we can make decisions on how Southeast Raleigh moves forward.
But those type of people, even approach you like that, those type of people aren't interested in what happens to the people.
Absolutely not.
They are interested in what happens to them individually or that individual group.
That's exactly
crazy.
That's exactly my point. And that happened. And I'm telling you that it happened. I will take a polygraph to prove to you that it happened. I'm telling you that it happened.
Well, look, I'll go ahead and say this right now. The two of you are welcome back anytime, regardless of the outcome of this election. The two of you are powerful voices, for the community, and regardless of the outcome, the both of you are going to continue.
Yeah, we ain't going nowhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Advocacy is not when you run for office. Advocacy is every day.
It doesn't die.
Yeah,
it doesn't die.
And Eugene, I'll go ahead and say this, okay? We've discussed this amongst the Straight Tape Brain Trust. We definitely want to get you back on in the future. Especially to talk about Shaw, St. Aug, the coalition, and everything that's been
Councilman Branch should have seen that coming, and I think he did see it coming. He's not going to own it, but he voted to change that districting so that Shaw could make those partnerships with those developers. And he knew that the possibility that Shaw was going to be online, that they might try to bulldoze it. He knew it. And
but listen, let's just keep this all real. And I know you're trying to wrap up, bro.
No.
We asked to meet with every member of the city council, right? Jonathan, now get this. The mayor says she live in District C. Jonathan Melton says he live in District C. He's at large, and Corey live in District C. District C has not thrived. We have not survived. It's worse than gentrified. When you wipe out a race of people and their culture,
this dude got bars on here tonight.
That's called genocide. You wiping out a race of people and their culture, that's genocide. So we met with every single city council member. Jonathan Melton would not meet with us. We told the mayor to meet with us. She blocked us, which is illegal. Councilman Branch looked me in my face and said, I hadn't made a decision yet. But he was asking people to write letters in favor of the rezoning. So there's that part. So I don't want to hold you all, but like I said, I tried to support.
That's disappointing. He's a schoolmate of mine. Like and that's really disappointing.
I'm disappointed. I stood before city council and I said to the man, I said, brother, you are a member of the Divine Nine. We are public service organizations, and you are not serving the people. Like, I tried to support the man. I listen. You would think me and Jared was best friends. I literally just met Jared during this process.
That's right.
But you know what? Real recognizes real, and that's right. What it boils
all day long, 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
That is disappointing.
Look, Councilman Branch, we've reached out to him in the past. Okay, we've look, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We've reached out to him in the past. To come on here to discuss Southeast Raleigh, and hey, I mean, for whatever reason, he had his back. All right,
well, why? You run from the truth, but the truth will eventually catch you. And that's why
listen,
doors of the pot are open.
A half truth is a whole lie every day.
Every day.
That part.
Every day.
That
every
part.
Day.
But we've got some work to do. And, so the Democratic Party initially supported Corey, inserted him, he's part of the community. But, and when I say inserted him in a position. And they burned him out. Now that we're tired of him, they're trying to reinsert someone else until we burn that person out. So as a registered Democrat, we have to be careful. Democratic Party plays tricks too now. Now
I re-registered as an independent like 4 years ago.
And I can't.
I'm sick of everybody. I
can't blame you. But as a registered Democrat, the Democratic Party, we got 6 Democrats running for the seat in District C. The Democratic Party selected one Democrat that they wanted to fill this seat. And that wasn't me. I wasn't endorsed by them. I was endorsed by the News and Observer. But what they're doing is there is certain people that are going to do their bidding. Now, remember what I said early on in this program. that the Democratic Party controls the school board, the city council, and the county commission. Why are our conditions so poor? Because they keep selecting the Democrats they know will do their bidding. And that's the problem right there. So we need to be keenly aware of what's happening in our
But
community.
what's their end game? Complete gentrification.
Ownership, development and ownership.
Bro, I keep saying I know you're trying to go, and I keep talking.
Keep going.
So once again, to go back to the 4 city council members called for a ceasefire. 4 of them called for a ceasefire. Megan Patton, Jane Harrison, Mary Black, and Christina Jones. Well, Jane and Megan are white. Christina's Latina. Mary Black is black. Only 2 of them are being called racist. It's really not about the ceasefire. It's really about using that, but hiding behind the developers. They are hand-picked candidates. I'm quite sure my opponent is hand-picked. She was living her best life over there at Dick's Park.
Absolutely hand-picked.
8-acre park. The person running against Mary Black, hand-picked. The person running against Christina Jones, hand-picked. It does not boil down to the ceasefire thing, which is what they calling them racist. They call them all these things. It boils down to development. They are development-friendly opponents.
That's right.
Running against these 2 young ladies. So we have to be mindful of the game that's being played. You know, they playing a very serious game, and we just got to be mindful of it.
And we as Democrats or independents, and particularly as African Americans, need to be mindful of this. We need to pay attention. We need to wake up, and we need to wake our children up. And even we had to wake up some of these older folks too, who are just brainwashed. We keep handing the power to the same people over and over, we're getting the same result. You've got 5 or 6 African American people who are in their mid 70s to early 80s who've been controlling Southeast Raleigh for the last 25 years, and we're worse off and worse off and worse off. It's time for them to pass the torch. You know, every good runner knows when to stop running and to pass the torch. Every good runner knows when to start training runners instead of running themselves. That's the problem we're having. Nobody wants to let go of power, and that's why we're losing this fight.
And I'll say this, that's consistently, it's been a generational issue within the Democratic Party. And because you just don't see that in Raleigh, okay? You see that everywhere. You see that everywhere. My sister-in-law, she, a couple of years ago, she was doing work with the Democratic Party in Pitt County, and her biggest frustration was exactly what you just mentioned. All right, not wanting, holding on to power with your wrinkled, cold hands. Okay, having it, having to dive it. Okay, right. That's not that's not how you advance.
Because it's no longer a public service; it's a service of you. Right?
You've got members of the RWCA and other organizations that have operated in Southeast Raleigh here for a long time. You got members on those boards making decisions, and they haven't lived in Southeast Raleigh in 25 years. They are remote control operating us, and they don't live anywhere around here. A lot of them don't even live in Raleigh. Some of them don't live in Wake County, but they're making all the decisions what's going on in South Raleigh. They know what's good for Southeast Raleigh. They don't grocery shop in Southeast Raleigh. They don't sit at the Bojangles in Southeast Raleigh. They don't go to the cookout. They ain't been to Frank's Pizza like Eugene and I. That's one of my favorite places. They don't come anywhere around us.
You said control. You said it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a power thing. That's a power.
Yeah, but it's a new day. We got a new sheriff in town. We got Jared Ollison. We got a new sheriff in
town. Shoot, now you got me wanting Frank. Shoot.
Well, we should meet over there. Have our next session from over there. It'd be great.
Hey. Break the tape from Frank.
Frank's.
Might have to talk to Frank about that. I mean, that would be a lovely spot to do a live show. Not like we don't have the equipment.
It'd be great.
Billy Bill's right next door.
Exactly.
But we have a lot of work.
That's right, my man over there, DJ Billy Bill. Sure, brother. I was sure, brother, right over there.
He's my wedding DJ and my former DJ.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. We do.
But this is the beginning. We in it. Like I said, I ain't going nowhere.
I mean, it really feels like an awakening, and I don't know if that is the case or if I'm just awakening.
No,
But
I mean you're
exciting.
right. The sad thing is we don't know what we have left because the greedy people trying to just steamroll us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I often think about, and we have friends that, like, one of our friends of the show, we've all been friends for, like, the people on the show have been friends for at least 3 decades. So and our friend, he's an artist, but his family home is right across from, where is it? It's on Martin Street. And just the issues with that, right? You think like your family, but because my family's home is in North Raleigh, around like literally in North Hills, which is now Midtown, but whatever. But like my parents bought the house in 1989 for $98,000 and is now worth a whole fucking lot of money. Right?
Yeah.
So how do my sister and I like position ourselves to maintain that? Because like they're literally buying houses around, like the lot next to my parents' house is an empty hole because they bought that house and tore it down.
Right.
And then construction stalled, or the houses across the street. Like one man back, he was smart. He was a professor at ECU, but he was smart. He bought like he had his house, but he bought the 2 houses next to him when they, as soon as they became vacant. So like those houses, they're tearing down and putting up McMansions.
Right.
I rode around the corner from my parents' house, and there's somebody with a fucking pickleball court in their yard. Like right down from the school, Felicia. Like that, how like a block down. They got a pickleball court and a swimming pool. Like that's not.
Well, you know one of the other things that the city council did. I'm sorry, Jared. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Eugene. Go ahead, please.
So one of the other things they did, they created something called Missing Middle. They got this. We need all types of housing. No, we don't. We need affordable housing, and they made it so that you can actually tear down one house and put a row of houses going back there. So where you sitting in your backyard, now you got people looking at you in your backyard. That's why houses are piled up like that on New Bern Avenue. It's like, I realize we need more housing, but we need affordable housing. Missing Middle was supposed to create different types of housing, or like if maybe you wanted to add a mother-in-law suite or something like that. But it's just another scam.
They proposal attack for me. They completely, it used all woods. They took those woods, and those are adjacent to like 1 block from New Bern Avenue. Right. But the night side. But so now I can from my house can see, like literally see and hear everything that's going on in New Bern Avenue. They built a little wall or whatever, but it's not like, so if I was my neighbor right directly across the street from me, I would be so upset because my whole like serene backyard is gone, and they ripped it down and they're building probably condos or apartments.
Which is unfortunate. I wouldn't recommend, and I mean the interest rates is so high. Like I literally lucked up because I did all my refinancing pre-COVID.
I bought my house in 2019. So I was like, I couldn't afford this house today. Like literally with interest rates, I could not afford this house. So
for your parents' house, when the rates go down, maybe don't refinance, but maybe you take some equity out and remodel. You know what I'm saying? Just take a little bit of equity out, remodel, and make the house,
Airbnb it when you're not there. Airbnb.
My parents still live there.
Oh, okay. So that's one thing. So your parents are still in the home, but what you can do is challenge the tax rates on the house. Challenge, file grievances. Do that type of thing. Like Eugene was saying, is there a possibility of some sort of in-law suite in your parents' backyard? Make them pay for it. Rent that in-law suite out to someone who wants to pay your parents $1,800 a month for a small space in the backyard.
Because it's literally fake money. Like I said, I bought my house in 2019.
It ain't fake money. That's real money.
I mean, it's real, but where you gonna go, right? Unless I want to move out past Nash County, past and then even Rocky Mount is high now. Like Rocky Mount is high now, right? So it is real money, but like what you're saying, like it's not tangible.
It happened overnight, is what you
Right.
saying.
It happened overnight, and so now, and it happened everywhere overnight.
Well,
It's not just
or get
certain
you a home
places.
equity line of credit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
That way you'll have at least if you wanted to get a new car, you can use that line of credit. You know what I'm saying? And you pay that back. But to just totally try to refinance now, it's like, you know,
It's crazy.
I just lucked up. Like I said, I lucked up when I bought that house and I refinanced it, and it's still cheaper than a basement in Brooklyn. So I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, I could not afford. If I bought this house today, I could not afford it.
I think we'd all be in trouble now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But it's still moving. Like
Perry done
couple
tried to
neighbors.
shut us down about 4 or 5 times already. I'm sorry, brother.
He's not the boss here. We're all the bosses.
Hey, you gotta start it. You get us started. We gonna go.
but here's the whole thing. When the conversation is as strong and as robust as this conversation has been, what do I look? What do I look like? Shutting it down. Okay. Plus, my boys up here losing by 30 points in the NBA opening tip off. So yeah, y'all can talk. Y'all can talk if y'all want. Shoot.
Yeah,
Well, we thank y'all.
Great. I'm still out in Durham, so I got to get out of here. I came straight from the Durham Forum. I just wanted to take the opportunity, man. I just appreciate the opportunity to be on. Hit me back anytime. Anytime.
Thank you very
No
much.
doubt.
Thank you both very much.
Likewise, I feel the same way. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for having us on. Like I said, I'm always available. Give me a shout, and I'm happy to join you. We can talk. Even after I'm elected, I will always be available.
You could send us some invites to the watch night, the election night party.
Well, it's gonna be here in my home. I'm a very personable person. You're all welcome. I live at 20.
Listen, I might. You know what? I might do something.
They'll give you
Jared.
address.
Now that they mentioned that, Jared. Maybe we need to do something together, man. We might need to do.
Y'all should.
That's not a bad idea.
Listen, we still trying to celebrate Kamala being elected, right?
Right. That's right. That's
Listen.
right. That's
Turn
right.
We need to do it up big. It's gonna be New Year's Eve right here.
But y'all do realize that we're not gonna find out that night. I'm already prepared, and I'm just preparing myself.
I'm hoping we do. I'm hoping.
We're praying we can read the tea leaves that night. We're praying that we go to sleep knowing what it's gonna be.
I hope so.
Ella, I'll say this. That's how I feel. Okay, but once again, we will see. And we'll look. First off, everybody, look. Thank you for joining us on Straight to Tape. This was a very, very, very important episode. Once again, thank you to Eugene Myrick. Thank you to Jared Ollison. All right. So, look, for the quintessential hip hop mom, Keisha with a Y.
2 weeks to Andre 3000.
Oh yeah, you are going to that.
Yep, me and the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, and I saw Stevie Wonder last week, and it was amazing.
Oh, wow.
It was like one of the best concert experiences I have had in my life.
Greensboro, right?
Yeah, but I will tell you, a lady passed away that night in the venue, like right in front of my eyes.
Oh no!
Wow.
However, it did give me clarity. If I go, I want to go at a concert. Y'all know.
You want a concert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we're grateful to you. We both are.
And like I said, I expect to see y'all. I expect to see y'all back on this show. Whatever the outcome is. Of course, my creative partner, Felicia Rousseau. Thank you for sitting in and bringing your energy and your intelligence to tonight's show. Hopefully, comedian Tico DeGaio is killing it at Charlie Goodnight.
Hope so.
Yeah, and hopefully, our social media assassin Rob the Actual is feeling better. Get better, fool. We got homecoming this week.
With your snotty nose.
Okay, with your snotty nose. We got homecoming this week. Look, shouts out to shouts out to my line brothers, Resurrection 12, celebrating our 35th anniversary
Wow.
as members
all right.
of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity
That just
Incorporated,
means he's
Alpha
old.
Kappa chapter. Yes, yes. So yes, we will be at homecoming celebrating and acting a freaking fool. All right, and
Red cup in hand.
Right.
yes.
Are you going to Knight's party on Friday night?
I haven't decided. We still haven't decided on a Friday night yet. You know, Kane is doing a show that Friday night too.
Where?
At the Armory. Yeah, Kane's doing a show at the Armory. There's of course there's a couple of day parties, a bunch of parties going on. We haven't decided what we're gonna do, but look,
Y'all gonna hit one party. We do all that homecoming planning. We go one place and go home.
And go take a nap. Go take a nap.
And then I purposely take a nap and don't get back up. Oh, I fell asleep. Don't worry.
No.
I hear about it tomorrow.
That is no fun.
Here's the whole thing. If I go home, if I don't stay in the street, if I go home, like the obligatory,
if I don't stay in the street, I lay in the street.
Listen, I got a good excuse though. We still got early voting. The homecoming is next week. We still got early voting. So guess what?
We wide open here.
Hey, bro, I got to get to the polls in the morning. I can't even hang out. I got a built-in excuse this year.
Folks, I ain't got time. I got to be where I got to be.
Well, I'll be at Ninth Pointers party on Friday night. And then that's
thanks again, good people. I'm about to get on this road. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much.
Just get on the road. We're gonna hit this outro, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll see y'all next week.